Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're doing a Maxx cricket bat by Gray-Nicolls. This is a grade 3 ready play, the 750 series. If you ever wondered what a Longblade's like, stick around and we'll take a look at that. This bat has actually been given to me by a clubmate. He's a prolific run maker. He scored over 600 runs again this season. He's played county cricket, but he doesn't really care about the grade of bat he uses. He only really cares that he's using a Gray-Nicolls. If anybody's actually got any experience with the Maxx cricket bat, please comment below. Tell me how you think it went for other viewers. Other people might be interested in buying that bat. Obviously, there's 4 different player bats. There's the Chris Lynn one, there's the Kane Williamson one, there's the Stoinis, there's also the Lynn Sane. I've got a bug going around here, I want to kill it. Unfortunately, filming out here in summer means that I'm going to have bugs. So this is a standard off-the-shelf bat. So they go from price range, a 500 model, which is about $200 and something, all the way to about $950 RRP. I haven't really been a big fan of the graphics for the Maxx. Every time I see this, I think the 12th Man doing a Richie Benaud impersonation. It's definitely a big middle. You can see all that wood there is pushed much further up the blade, and it's probably accentuated by the fact that this is a long blade. Those green graphics and the black is very striking. As far as the grader willow, you've got the grade 3, pretty much the same sort of quality willow that we looked at with that substandard bat, the Atomic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grains. Got some speck, a little bit of a blemish here. These retail, I think the RRP's 320. Greg Chappell Cricket Centre, I think I saw 285. Compare the willow to this one, which we reviewed last time. That's actually just been oiled. That's why it's a little bit darker. But the grade quality is pretty much the same. You can see here this blemish has got a lot darker with the oiling. You can look at that review. I'll put a link to the review on the substandard bat up there if you want to go and watch that. Things about it. So we have here, using our gauge, same face camber as the Atomic I just did. They call this a semi-flat face, rounded at the edges to allow for the bat to take some damage, but obviously flat in the middle, which is not what the Atomic's supposed to be. That's supposed to be the AccuDrive flat face. So that is definitely an issue on the other bat. See the edge profile here as I get this down. Once again, very similar to that of the other bat. Maybe slightly bigger. I imagine we're looking closer to 40 mil is what to say on the website. You can see there the full width is actually taken up with that scuff sheet, so it's probably going to measure in at about 109, and its spine height is about 4 mil below, so I imagine this is about a 62 mil spine as well. Pretty much the same measurements, just a lot higher than the Atomic. Bow is supposed to have a mild bow. It's definitely not as big as the bow on the Atomic was. Probably not as accentuated because it's a longer blade. Measure the toe width, got here near 21 at the edge, in the center 26.7, up here at the edge 39, so slightly bigger than the other one. I haven't measured that spine, and it says 62. I can get it's 15 mil at the shoulders. And let's see how thick this is at the top, 38.9. So a lot thicker through this area here, meaning a lot more wood has been left up here. Try and balance that longer blade shape as well. The handle shape itself is they call it a semi-oval. I would say semi-oval slightly at the bottom and what feels pretty much round. It's got this zigzag grip that feels nice and thick. It's actually a lot thicker than the Atomic with the Zone Plus. We'll roll this down, see what it reveals. It says 210, and it's a bound bat, which means it's made in India. Some sort of markings there. Once again, on the shoulder, we'll check out the marking there, and we've got an XA, meaning this is the same year as the Atomic that I did, but no substandard marking here. down here on the toe, you've got the advanced polymer toe guard that normally appears on the Australian bats, not the blue one that appeared on the Atomic. Let's measure the width, taking into account that we do have the Extra Tech on. 108.5, so that's about right. Notice there you've got the full length cover that seems to be coming with all the Gray-Nicolls, not that half length one that they used to do. So I'll put that aside. And to look at blade length, probably the easiest thing to do is to do a comparison. So what I've done is I've lined them all up so that they're equally touching the base of the table. I haven't changed the camera angle. And you can see here the long handle and the short handle are both meeting in exactly the same point here. Whereas the long blade is 1 inch longer on the blade. That 1 inch continues on to the handle, which is 1 inch longer than the short handle, whereas the short handle and the long blade are both the same length. So the answer to the question is difference between a long handle and a long blade. They are both the same overall length, which is 1 inch longer than a short handle blade. And I'll just line that up so you can see the perspective there. Straight line across. We'll get on to the part where we do the weight measurement. So it said 210 under the handle. Before I actually weigh it, I'm going to tell you what I think it feels like, and I think it feels like a 2.9, maybe 2.9.5. And check that weight. And it says 211.7, so it's actually heavier. It definitely doesn't feel like a 212 bat. So that in mind, we'll do our comparison on the tap up, noting that this bat has actually had some knocking. We'll bring in the ultimate and tap, obviously, from the toe forward. Starting at the toe. So that's your played in bat. So starting down at the toe here, we'll test this one. This bat has had some knocking, but we'll test it to see what its response is like. So it's pretty much going from that blemish through to here. This is its middle here. See off center. They say that those rounder faces will give you a better, bigger middle. And I'll just test that toe out on camera. You can see there's some smudging there. And the toe is a little bit soft, it just needs a tiny little bit more. I don't know if you can see that under the camera. So there we have it. That is the Maxx in a long blade, $320 bat. You can get them for about $285. Obviously the length of the middle is quite different to that of the more expensive blades. So there is definitely some grading going on to make sure that there's more performance in the more expensive bats. What you get is what you paid for, but there's no doubt in my mind that these bats, once they're played in, will reach a good peak, particularly in their main hitting areas. And as batsmen, we tend to mostly hit in around the same areas. So it just depends on how good you are. I know this player is very good, so he'll be hitting more in this area here more consistently. There you go. Gray-Nicolls Maxx.